Yo, what's up, guys? Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Casting, and I'm kind of a freaking big deal. If you don't know, now you know. One of the HCS commentators, and we have another HCS Weekly Report, and this one is going to be a big one. Let's get right into it. So, to recap yesterday's HCS Weekly Report, we talked about the fact that Space Station Gaming saying farewell and thanking their roster, ultimately dropping them all, or in this case, allowing them to explore different options, I believe is the way they decided to put it. Obviously, you have Kuhlect, Suppressed, Ace, and Tylenol, 4 superstars, and I know for a fact they're gonna do great. They're gonna find themselves a new home, and each and every one of those players are gonna have successful careers. I promise you that. But it left a lot of questions. We were wondering if SSG were going to be picking up the old KCP roster. We figured, KCP obviously decided to sell their roster. I kind of broke the news on it, saying that SSG at first were reached out to, declined. Then eventually SSG reached out to KCP again, but it was too little, too late. KCP were already finalizing a deal to another team, which we're going to talk about that, and that kind of left Space Station Gaming scrambling a bit. Been keeping my ears to the pavement, and I've been hearing them attacking multiple rosters that are already made, them kind of willing to throw a little bit of money around to ultimately get themselves a star-studded roster, and it looks like they're eyeballing the Pittsburgh Knights. I think that's huge. The number one team in Latin America is who they're eyeballing this time. And I think the Pittsburgh Knights have a ton of potential. You obviously know about Tapping Buttons. He was formerly on that Evil Geniuses roster, an incredible talent, fast player, barely misses a shot, and the dude is super talented. You join him with Drift and Atso, and then Pelu, who I believe is formerly of Colombia. So when this season first started for Halo Infinite, Colombia wasn't even allowed to compete during these Latin American tournaments. It's a Mexico region only. So what ended up having to happen is you have a lot of phenomenal Colombian players who, the Johans, the Guardian Flies, the Pelus, who was on the number one team, and they were left out of the mix. Now they've apparently moved to Mexico. They're moving here for opportunity. A big shout out to Cincinnati, the Pittsburgh Knights, and everybody who's trying to make that to help them get over to Mexico and to compete in some of these giant tournaments. Pelu then ends up finding his spot right back on the roster after I believe it was Nasty Bullet that was filling in for quite some time, and now Pittsburgh Knights are being scouted out by Space Station Gaming. And I kind of talked about this yesterday during the podcast that I love the move. I do. Like right now, the Latin American community feels like they feel like we've turned our backs on them, honestly. Like they don't have enough representation within the scene, even though they're so passionate and they're always grinding and putting in work, and they're getting better and better, and they feel like they're not being represented right now. So if Space Station Gaming reach out a hand, I love that. I really do. So big ups to Space Station Gaming for even thinking about this, and I hope it actually goes through, because let me tell you, man, when those skins go on sale, again, I keep telling you, the Latin American community is passionate, and they have nobody to really root for. I'm telling you, man, when they start going on sale, a Space Station Gaming sale, them sales gonna go through the roof. All of Latin America buying. I know I'll rebuy the skins if that's the case, but obviously dropping their old roster to recap and now eyeballing the Space Station Gaming. So I'm sorry, eyeballing the Pittsburgh Knights, excuse me. So that kind of leaves us wondering, so if KCP were already in the final stages of selling their team, who was the organization picking them up? Was it 100 Thieves? Was it a Oxygen Esports? Was it was it Sentinels? I mean, we don't. Who knows? Apparently, Jake Lucky knows, and Jake Lucky reported yesterday after a heartbreaking announcement that Kansas City Pioneers would be leaving the Halo scene. The roster is set to be picked up by Native ahead of Orlando. It will be their most prominent push into esports, along with their Valorant roster. Native looking to not only step foot into Halo, but to stomp their foot, to make their presence known, leaving the line in the sand right there. And it's really excited to see that. Native Gaming recently signing, by the way, King J, Mines, Aperture, and the boys. What I'm hearing going into Orlando, they're gonna rock 2 different Native rosters: Native Red, Native Black. So you don't have to worry about that roster being dropped. They still have plans, and even on top of that, you know, McWin's gonna be coming back soon. So who knows what's happened with Native? But what we do know is they're making some steps in the right direction. They're making some plays. Is Native Gaming, and I'm excited to see the Pioneers roster back in action. What I'm also excited to see is them sporting a new look, because apparently getting signed by a new org wasn't enough. Apparently they need to take it a step further, and in scrims, because you know we caught them, we got them, guys, we got them. They try to be sneaky about it. Nah, we got them. Talik, Soul Snipe, Druck, and Kuhlect scrimming together against former teammate Manny on United, and whoa, I'm over here like, okay, so you're going to a new org, a little bit of a different direction. Obviously, King Nick was a part of this roster at one point in time, and still is, but they're deciding to try things out, you know, mix things up. Obviously, they haven't been able to find the success they've been looking for, and although I love the former United member King Nick on paper when it comes to bringing it out onto the KCP roster, I guess, or now new Native, want to call them. It's gonna take some time for me to get used to that. I love Kuhlect on any team. Put Kuhlect on Native, put Kuhlect on Oxygen, put Kuhlect on Sentinels. I love Kuhlect on any team because I think the young man is a superstar and has a bright future in the league. He plays fast. He demands so much attention. His movement is absolutely cracked out. Kuhlect is the real deal. And although this isn't done and dusted, they're probably running with multiple teams multiple players going forward and just testing the waters. I will say, I think Kuhlect's playstyle really does fit this team, and I think not only will he be in a great place, being able to play with players that really want to play as fast as him, because you know Soul Snipe can get in there, you know Druck can get in there, and Talik is great at watching their backs. But I just think that the team as well will get some value out of it as well, because again, he matches their playstyle. So it's really a win-win for both sides if they choose to go forward. But I'm watching this closely, and don't worry, these HCS Weekly Reports, we're going to keep doing them, and we're going to keep trying to find out what's going on in the scene, because Rostermania 2 is it coming. So at least you're asking yourself, where the hell is King Nick? If King Nick's not scrimming with this team, who is King Nick scrimming with? Because they were also scrimming. Again, you could try to hide. I say it all the time. Yeah, you can try to hide, but you cannot hide from us. We on point, and we out here stalking. King Nick was caught scrimming with the FaZe roster in place of Snipedown against Sentinels. That's right. FaZe just, you know, they've played multiple scrims. They've done multiple small tournaments together. They've played the NA Super, and they weren't able to hit the metrics that they were looking for. They weren't able to hit the heights, their expectations. So now they're looking to change things up a little bit, apparently. And again, it's just one scrim. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh no, King Nick is signed automatically, Snipedown is dropped, that's it. But what I will say is, where there's smoke, there's fire. So even if King Nick is that answer they're looking for, maybe he is, maybe he's not. But either way, it sounds like FaZe are willing to change things out to try to find the success that they're looking for. I nicknamed this team the God Squad back in June when I was hearing rumors of them. And they started off a little slow. And they just haven't been able to figure it out. And sadly, sometimes when you're not able to figure it out, no matter how much you scrim, no matter how much you grind, no matter how much you put in the work, sometimes it simply doesn't work. And sometimes you have to think about going a different direction, and that's what they do. King Nick, former duo with Sparty, the New Jersey boys, I ain't mad at that. Joining Renegade and Falcated. You got 3 amazing Slayers. You got Nick, who I'm sure can really up the tempo when necessary. slow the game down if he needed to. He makes these swing multi-kill plays, and he's always so creative with what he's trying to do. I think back to that triple kill when he gets a nasty double. I think he spawn snipes somebody or gets a snipe on somebody, overshield, turns around on live fire, looks towards the A side, sees a grenade on the ground, shoots the grenade, pinpoint accuracy to get the triple kill, remote detonation. It was incredible. But those are the plays that King Nick makes. And I will say, if you ask me if I like King Nick on FaZe more than I like King Nick on that old KCP roster, I will say yes. I think King Nick and really will round out the Sparty, Renegade, and Falcated option a lot better than he rounded out the Pioneers option. I do. I really do. So that's what we're looking at now, guys. Dude, we just had a Rostermania. How are we gonna have another one already? Once SSG drop their roster, that's it. Because it's not gonna be the only shakings that are happening. We have to find out what happens with Tyler on Ace. Are they moving forward as a team of two, gonna build a new team? Are they gonna join another core? Will Tylenol get an offer that pulls them away from Ace or vice versa towards Ace? And then what happens with Suppressed? We're not even talking about Suppressed right now. And then I'm even hearing in random Twitch chats, so take it with a grain of salt, that maybe SSG, if they can't secure the bag onto Pittsburgh Knights, maybe they go forward with Kuhlect again and build around Kuhlect. So who knows what's happening? What I do know is that FaZe are looking to change things up. Maybe that means Snipedown is officially going to be going back over to Apex. Maybe he continues playing Halo. Maybe, I don't know, maybe him, McWin, Pistola make some kind of retirement home team. we go come fresh out of the retirement home, rice pudding and all, just tapioca still in our beers, just come in winning championships at Orlando and Worlds. I don't know. But yeah, call him Shotzi. I hear he has a little bit of time during the off season. Either way, it's been fun. It's an HCS Weekly Report. We're recording another one tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, so make sure you guys are here on the Twitch, twitch.tv/YNOT_B_casting. If you're not, this is going to be uploaded to YouTube right when I'm done with my stream, and we just have a whole lot to talk about. I think tomorrow we're going to talk about some of those scrim results, because we've been talking about scrims these entire times. We might as well go in and find out how these teams are looking so far leading into Orlando. You guys have a good one. Peace.